Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, we're going to paint this black and white husky who's super cute, so I hope you enjoy the process. For my first time painters, please be kind to yourself as we go through this process, and remember to breathe and relax as you're painting. What you guys are going to see in this video, in the description box below, there is a link to a supply kit. And that supply kit is everything that you need to paint this particular painting. So check it out, gather what you need, jump back on the video, and keep on going through the process of painting. Another thing that you're going to see in the description box below is a link to a traceable. And a traceable is a way for my first time and beginner painters to get that initial image, that initial composition on your canvas before you even start painting. So again, just a really good tool for my beginner painters. So check that out. There's a link on where to acquire your traceable. And then there's also a video on how to transfer your traceable to your canvas. So check those out. Remember that as we go through the painting process, breathe, relax, enjoy the movement of paint on a canvas. You're going to be so focused on your canvas that you kind of forget a little bit about your daily life, and that is the point of painting. So kind of enjoy it. All right, so enough talking. Let's go ahead and get into the process of painting. Alright guys, so hopefully you got all your painting supplies and everything that you need. As always, make sure you take your progress photos. And once you have your traceable transferred to your canvas or your panel, you're going to use that small pointy brush and black paint and go over all those outlines that you just transferred. And this is really good practice, no matter what level painter you are, first time, beginner, intermediate. But it's just good practice to get comfortable with the brush and the pressure of your brush. So as we're doing this first outline, kind of play with that. Notice that the harder you push your brush against the canvas, the wider the line it makes. The lighter pressure and maybe a little bit of water on your brush will get you a bit of a smaller or finer line. Don't stress about these lines being absolutely perfect. We will do a few outlines at the end of this painting around the ears, but it is a black and white husky, so it won't be as pop arty as some of the other videos on my channel. And when you see the eyes, you can reference your traceable, but notice where the black pupil is filled in, and then there's a little white circle that's left white. Go ahead and do that at this step. And if you happen to paint over that white dot, don't freak out. At the end of the painting, when we do our white highlights, you can go back and reapply this white dot on top of your other paint. So basically, as we go through the process, just relax. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move into a larger brush, one of your larger flat brushes, and we're going to make a light purple. And you can see here that I'm just grabbing a little bit of white, a little bit of purple, and just kind of mixing them in a new pile between the two original colors. Kind of play with that. You can add a little more white, add a little more purple, kind of get it to something that you like, or switch it out to a different color that you want to paint. And as you're applying the paint on your background, you're going to be filling in the space from the edges of your black lines to the edges of your canvas. And I do recommend that you let your black paint dry before you move into painting your background. It'll just make it a little bit easier for you. And your paint will dry in about 15 minutes. All right. If you're a first-time painter and you're painting, applying the paint kind of thin, I'm going to encourage you to apply it a little bit thicker. This will give you a nice kind of workable body to move instead of the paint drying out so quickly. So experiment with adding a little bit thicker paint. And if you go over the black lines, that's okay, because we will be painting the fur on top of this. So this is the fun part, wet on wet blending. So what you can do is you just kind of slap a color on top of your background, really any color, and then you move your brush on top of it, and it creates kind of a new transition or a new space or haze of color. You can do this with the darker colors as well. And just kind of play with the pressure, play with the direction of the brush strokes. If you want to use your fingers to kind of blend, but this method works only when your background or your paint is wet. So that's why it's called the wet on wet blending method. So get your background to a spot that you like, and then you'll pause the video and take your progress photo. Doing a good job. All right, so we're going to move into black paint, and I've got the medium flat brush. And we're going to be kind of starting in the gum line and the nose, but then we'll be adding the dark spaces in the fur. So as we go through this, I want you to actually just kind of look at what I do on screen, and then do your best to mimic that on your painting. You do not have to get it perfect. It's not going to look like mine entirely. And you can paint this a couple of times, and each one's going to be a different variation. So it's just what you're painting right now. You are training your eye to look on screen and then mimic something on your canvas. You're doing good. Remember to breathe and relax. So now that I'm moving into the black fur on our Husky, I'm painting in the darkest areas. And again, you're just going to mimic the shape. You can make little dots or little dash marks that kind of overlap each other to kind of fill in the canvas texture and create kind of these different abstract shapes. And if yours looks slightly different than mine, again, that is okay. That's kind of the fun thing about painting. You just kind of get lost in the process and see what you create. And the next time that you go to paint, you'll see a little bit more. All right. And again, my first time painters, just relax. You're doing good. You're kind of getting lost in just the process. If you had a stressful day, you can kind of put it into the painting. You will feel a little bit better afterwards. But it takes a lot of courage to paint at home, so good job. I do encourage you to find a healthy creative outlet and paint on a monthly basis if you can. All right, and pretty cool how we're making some of these abstract shapes, but how it's starting to give life and structure to the painting. If you are using student grade paint and it's kind of transparent or a little on the thin side, I'm going to encourage you to apply your paint a little bit thicker, or you can always do kind of a round two and reapply the paint in a second layer and just go through the steps again. So kind of your call. All right. And it's kind of cool that this may be a black and white dog. You think we would just paint it all black and then the other part just leave it white. But what you'll notice is we're actually going to paint it in shades of dark gray and black in the black fur sections, and then really light gray and white where the white fur is. Because as we're painting on this flat surface, we have to kind of create an illusion of space. All right, and I get to tell my students that they're magicians. You're creating that 3D object on a flat 2D surface. All right, so pause the video and take your progress picture. We're going to be making our dark gray, and you can see where I grabbed some of the white and pulled it over towards the black to make a little bit lighter shade from the black, which is our dark gray. And we're going to be filling in the remaining space of the black fur on our Husky. And again, you're using little dots or little overlapping dash marks and just filling in this space. If you happen to go over the black paint, that's okay. If you're painting on kind of a quick pace and your black paint is still wet as you're bringing your dark gray paint next to it, feel free to kind of soften that transition between the two colors, the two shades, and do a little bit of blending. All right, we got a little bit on top of the nose. And you're welcome to pause the video at any point and just take a closer look at what you see on screen and do your best to mimic that or study it or rearrange it or adjust it on your canvas. All right, and at any point with these colors, if you need to move down to a smaller brush, the pointy brush, feel free to do that. All you're doing with these paintings is just kind of finding your comfort zone and just kind of getting out of the stress of your day and focusing on something different and switching sides of your brain, actually. So I do hope you can find a way to kind of incorporate this on more of a regular basis for yourself. All right, so using the pointy brush, I'm going around into smaller spaces, still with that dark gray paint. And again, all you're going to be doing is pausing the video at points and mimicking what you see on the screen. And as I said earlier, it takes a lot of courage to paint at home. So you're doing a great job. It's kind of scary in the beginning, but after you do it a few times, you realize, hey, this is kind of fun. I like this. I'm going to do some more. So feel free to check out the other videos on my channel. Check out millions of other amazing teachers and artists out there that have videos on YouTube as well. So many amazing sources right now. So utilize those to find your own stress relief in this world. Again, if you've been holding your breath, take a deep breath for me. You can even pause the video, take another progress photo at any time. All right, so here I added a little bit more shadow on the edge of the face, overlapping the background, underneath the nose, and a little more around the eyes. If you have a particular husky in mind and you want to change the markings to be a little bit more like that one, go right ahead and do that. Same for the eye colors. If you need to change that to match a husky you are welcome to change them out. And if you feel like you need to go back to the black or back to a different color, go right ahead and do that. I do want you to trust your instincts as you're painting. They are naturally going to be guiding you in the correct direction. So don't go, crazy, but trust your instincts when you're doing something creative. And when you move into the smaller brush, you can kind of imagine that each brush stroke is like a strand of fur on your pet or on this husky, and you want to move the brush in the direction that the fur would be going. All right, so take your progress picture. We're going to step down. And just like we did with the dark gray, we're just going to add a little bit of white next to our color and step down the shade. So that way it's relative to what you have on your canvas. And we are going kind of light gray, so I'm not grabbing a whole lot of the dark gray because we are going to be putting a shadow in the white area of the fur on our husky. So that way we're going to create that illusion of that jaw kind of coming out and giving a bit more of a 3D effect on a flat surface. Again, you can use little dots, overlapping dash marks, and you're just going to be filling in the space with a light gray and mimicking the shape that you see on the screen. Again, if you're holding your breath, take a deep breath. You're doing a great job. You're not thinking about anything except your painting right now, and that is a wonderful thing. If you need to make your shade of light gray a second or third or fourth time, don't freak out about getting the exact same shade of light gray. There are actually quite a few varieties in life. We're just capturing a few of the shades here on this painting. So if you have a little variety in your shade of light gray, that's okay. All right, and as you paint, I want you to kind of get in the habit of kind of maybe propping your painting up and stepping away from it, maybe walking about 10 feet away, walking to the edge of the room and looking at your painting from a distance. Because you've been up close right now, kind of painting it for maybe 2 feet in front of you, 4 feet in front of you. and you've been kind of nervous about it. So it's kind of time to go back and step away, look at it from the normal viewing distance that people are going to be seeing your painting. And what you're going to notice is when you look at it from that distance, it may actually look better. That's okay. That's actually where most people are going to be looking at your painting from. So you can kind of keep that in mind as you are painting it and you look close and you're up close to it. And maybe you're a little overcritical about some of the things that you're doing. But when you take that distance, those 10 to 20 feet away, and you look at it, go, oh, that looks really good. Okay, remember to keep doing that in your painting process. All right, and make sure you take a notice of some of the light gray that I put on the dark section of the Husky's fur. Just kind of giving it a little bit more depth. And pause the video, take your progress photo. We're going to be moving into white paint and basically filling in the remaining canvas space aside from the tongue and the eyes. So we are basically putting white paint on white canvas, but it's at least getting something on there. And if you're moving kind of quickly into this step, your light gray paint will still be wet. And as you bring that white paint right next to that light gray, you can do a little bit of blending and soften those lines. As you get out to the longer fur around the smile of our Husky, kind of using dash marks as you apply your white paint, using dash marks as you apply your wet paint and overlapping some of that light gray, just kind of gives the indication that our Husky's fur is nice and fluffy and billowing out from his face. So again, just kind of moving your brush in the direction of the fur when you get out to his neck and kind of even where the overlapping fur is from the white to the dark fur. All right, when you get to the edges, you can even overlap the white paint because this is a fluffy Husky. Overlap that white paint on the background. All right, you're doing good. This is turning into a good looking Husky. Especially all my painters, but especially my first time painters. You should be very proud of yourself. You're doing a great job. And I'm proud of you for painting at home. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move into the tongue. So clean your brush really good. We're going to use the small pointy brush and make light pink. And you can see I put a little bit of white next to the red. Tiny amount of red goes a long way in the white to make pink. And what we're going to do is fill in the entire tongue space with this light pink. So you have the freedom to adjust it to whatever shade of pink that you want. And this is going to be our base coat, and then we're going to put a few dots of darker color on top of this. And if you have to make it a second time, that's okay. And you're bringing it right up to those black lines and filling in the whole space. And here you can see I added a little more red to make it a little bit deeper. And in a few places on the tongue, just making these dots and kind of, again, abstract shapes on top of there to give some variation to the tongue. So feel free to add that. You can pause the video and kind of observe the shape that they are. And then now I'm adding a little bit, a touch of black to that shade. So we're going for our shadow value and doing the same thing and adding a bit of a shadow in the back of the tongue. We are painting this right on top of wet paint, so it kind of falls into that wet on wet blending that you did in the background. And again, you're just going to pause the video if you end up getting too much gray or too much black in there and messing it up, and take a paper towel and just wipe it off and start over again. All right, now we're taking that grayish pink, making it a little bit darker and filling in the ears. Again, your shade might be a little bit darker or lighter than mine. That is okay. All right, while the tongue is still wet, we're going to take a little bit of white to give a little bit of a highlight on the tongue, which is that left hand kind of curve and the tip of the tongue. And a little bit in the ears. Guys, looking good. I hope you are enjoying the process of painting and are liking how yours is turning out. All right, oh, and grabbing a bit more of that pink, putting a little bit on top of that gum line just to give the hint that he's got some pink gum lines. All right, you're going to pause the video, take your progress picture. Now we're going to make the eye color. So if you want to switch these out to a different shade or two different eyes, feel free to make your Husky unique and make your eye color whatever you like. So here I'm starting with the white, adding a tiny amount of blue to make light blue eyes for our Husky. And you'll be able to see in a minute, but I'm just filling in the space around the pupil, filling in that entire area. And if you go outside the lines or overlap that a little too much, that's okay. We are going to re-outline our black sections in the next step. All right, pause the video, take your progress photo. All right, now we're using the pointy brush and black paint. And we're not going to do a full-on outline, but we're going to outline the eyes and nose again, and the tongue. And then we'll do a little bit on the tips of the ears. But unlike some of my other videos, we're not going to outline as much. So using light pressure, reapplying that eyeliner, and even the pupil if you need to, on both eyes. You can kind of treat the brush like a pencil and mind your pressure. The harder you touch or harder you push the brush against the canvas, the wider the line it makes. All right, pretty cool what a little bit of eyeliner does for the eyes. So now going over the tongue. Again, using that light pressure. If you need to put your pinky out and steady it on the canvas or on the table or rest your forearm against the table, make sure you breathe as you do some of these smaller lines. It is not to your benefit to be holding your breath right now. All right, looking good. If you happen to make fatter lines in a few areas and skinnier lines in other areas, that's okay. That's just part of the uniqueness and personality of your Husky that you are painting right now. If you paint it again, it may be slightly different. That's okay. For the hair around the ears and overlapping the background, still using light pressure on that brush, and moving the brush in the direction that the little wisps would be going. So kind of moving off the ear over the background. You're going to add a tiny amount of water to your black paint to kind of elongate and give a little bit more fluidity to your paint. But as a rule of thumb, you never want to add more than 30% water. You're going to clean your brush and we're going to move into white paint. And if you need to reapply those white dots, those catch lights, go right ahead. I'm adding a little bit more white to the tongue, increasing that highlight. All right, guys, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the process of painting, and I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers. Hey gang, I hope your paintings turned out really cute and I hope you enjoyed the process of painting. As you're uploading your videos or your images to social media, please tag me at Paint with Lovejoy or hashtag Paint with Lovejoy, or even email them to me. It is through your comments, your feedback, your videos and images that really kind of keep this channel going and keep it growing. So please send those to me so I can be inspired to make more videos. Also, leave feedback and let me know what new paintings you want me to produce for this channel. I do look at those and I put those on my production list. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that, and please share this channel, share this video with your friends, family members, and coworkers that could benefit from painting at home. It's kind of through your recommendation that they're going to be more likely to try it than maybe just something random. So share it with people. Yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to paint with me. Thanks for getting creative. Thanks for painting at home. I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers. Hey guys, try that again. Hey guys, welcome back. Blah, 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 blah. Let's not try that.